Welcome back to the channel, folks. I might have a very interesting play for you, and that is ING Injective. This is a AI coin that already had a pretty big run up all the way in 23 and 24, hitting a all-time high of $53. And this thing, it's just on the macro, just constantly making low lows and lower highs. And if you ask me, I think we're hitting some absolute seller exhaustion on the macro time frame. And I've been looking at the chart, and it's setting up for a very interesting play back to the all-time highs of approximately $53. I'm going to show you what my plan is for this coin and how I am planning to trade it. If you like the content, please do me a favor by like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment and share this video with your friends if I think that's useful. Without further ado, let's start diving in. As I said, ING, this is a AI coin, and most of the AI sector actually in crypto has had a major beating since they most of them put a high in at and around March 2024. But I think that this can have a second run up, and that this sector is now being overlooked. We hear everything about Bitcoin and Ethereum, meme coins. I think everything has a time and a place, but I think it's time that AI is going to get his next big impulse to the upside. Now, what have I marked so far on the chart? That is just 3 significant highs, one just above, we're almost there. We're, by the way, here right now on the weekly. Then I have a high right here at $35, and then of course we have the all-time high at $53. And if I put a trend line over these two highs, then you can also see that we're somewhat close to that trend line high right there. Then I have pulled a FIB volume profile, as you can see, so that we have a macro idea of where most of the trading volume is. And there are two nice things about this. As you can see here, this is a very balanced trading profile. This actually looks super nice, so we don't have very extreme outliers. And the second thing is we have the point of control right here, and we are right now trading above that point of control. That means that the highest traded volume and an important resistance has been conquered. But if we're looking at the macro chart right here, we are still trading somewhat right here at the lows of this entire move down. So that is actually very nice. If I'm then looking ahead, so what is then important resistance, then I would say this box right here that I've drawn. You can see you have some higher volume right there. If I'm zooming in on the daily and I'm going to that area, you could also say that this whole area right here is actually also a trading zone, a trading area in itself. Now, if I am going to pull a volume profile also in that specific area, then you can see that the point of control of that box right there also is in that broader box that I just drew out. That means that actually this becomes a very important resistance, or at least the first big resistance above us. And I would then say that it's at and around $20 to, let's say, $21, $22, right? So take that for an area. You can also see here on the daily time frame that we had a lot of daily candles that opened and closed right there in that box. So again, don't take this for a couple cents more or less. We're now really aiming at how can we get to the all-time high and what are the major zones that we need to look out for. If we would reclaim, let's say, $22, then the next one above us is that major high right here, $35, which then also lines up with that golden pocket. And that golden pocket is measured really from the absolute top that we created in 2024, what I just mentioned. Let me mark this again. That is right here, all the way to the bottom right here. So back to that golden pocket, $35, $36. I think it's going to be a major resistance. So eventually if we get there, don't be afraid that we're getting a wick there, or maybe then right away lose it, and that could be a temporary short, 1, 2, 3 weeks, and then we're going down again. If price eventually comes up to that $35 and closes a daily above that $36, so we're not getting an SFP of this significant high, and we're just closing strongly at or even above the golden pocket, this short trade is off the table. I would not take it anymore. Then I think it is a quick sweep back to the all-time high, because once you get there, there's actually not a whole lot of resistance in this area. Personally, I am holding this in my sport portfolio. I also think we can see a new all-time high during this bull run once we see the interest in the AI sector picking up again. And I think that is just a matter of time. If you look at the broader crypto space, you constantly see the money rotating from area to area. Could be RWA, could be DeepIn, it can be memes, it can be AI, it doesn't matter. At some point you see that money rotating. If I'm also looking then at the broader picture, then you can see that ING is right now is number 63 on the list. I also, by the way, filtered this for AI, and the current market cap is where was it, at and around 1.5 billion. Not extremely big, not super small. I would say it is a smaller medium coin at the moment. If we would go back to the all-time high, that is approximately a 3x from now, a little bit more, but that would also mean that the valuation will go to 4.5 billion. Even that, I think, is nothing out of the ordinary. Like I said, we have seen huge valuations for all of these crypto coins. I also think that we can see a major run up here in render. FAT, I think, is going to do amazing. There are so many smaller projects that still really need to lift off. AIOZ. Once this interest comes back, I think we can see some crazy price action. Just pretty much the exact same as what we have seen here. Let me just take this out real quick so that you can see what I'm talking about. This also was just a major run up and caught a lot of people by surprise. I am expecting something similar. We're going sideways. This was, 20% for 35 days, and then eventually, boom, it is being ignited, and there you can see 150% in 2 weeks. I am expecting something similar, then some sideways period, and then another move up, because nothing goes up and down in a straight line. That is for now what I'm looking at. If you want to play this locally, I have to say I like what I'm seeing. If I'm just looking here at the daily candles, you do not see crazy wicks and you do not see crazy outliers. For example, every day will go up a couple percent down, 3, 4, 5%. Yeah, there are days with double digits, like here. There you have 70% up, and then here you have minus 12%, but overall nothing too crazy, no crazy wicks. That is great news. That means there is good liquidity, this thing does not behave in a crazy way, and that makes it suitable for leverage trading. And that is what I'm going to look out for. Can I get into a leverage trade? Now we're still at the bottom of the macro range, but have reclaimed the point of control. Can I then trade it up back to these macro resistance levels that I just talked about? Again, right here, that $21, $22, and eventually $35, $36, and then just blast it all the way up to the all-time high, $53. Sounds crazy right now. Like you just saw, we can do 150% in 2 weeks. So I would look out there for something very locally. Let's see if we're just looking at this local range, what I have for you, because yeah, this actually looks very nice. Let's see if we can, what happens if I do this. Ooh, oh yeah. Yeah, that looks good. So as you can see, we have also now reclaimed that point of control of this local area. And oh, sorry, I think the 382 will be just above. Yes, and that also hits the trend line. So look at this. So what are we really seeing now with price? We are hitting first from the value area high, point of control, value area high, again backtest, point of control, value area low, some sideways section, then back, value area high, retest, point of control, value area high. So if we can get one more move down to that 382 of the fib retracement trend line and then to go higher, this will be absolutely beautiful. That will be a very nice trade. What you could also do, but then I really need to see a reclaim first of this $16.85, because this is the last significant high. Is, let's say we're going higher, then reclaim it, backtest it, and then to go higher. This could be your long entry right here. I will put it locally underneath a 4-hour candle, or maybe a local 1-hour higher low, something like that, very locally, and then you can have a pretty tight stop loss, 3, 4, 5, 6%, that's it, and then just ride the wave to the upside, because like I said, I think once this starts breaking out, it starts to get going, and we're still right here at the consolidation phase, but we are about to break out. So I think this thing can absolutely run up. Something else that I have seen on Market Cipher B that makes me pretty damn bullish is the monthly. If I look at here, you can see we're trying to print a green dot. The VWAP is just above the 0 line, and this actually looks pretty good. And also on the weekly, I think I was pretty satisfied. Yep, you can see that the momentum wave is thick to the upside. This is not going to clip anytime soon. The only thing I would like to see is that the money flow will cross the 0 line into the green. However, you can see that we are doing a little bit like this, and then we can expect another fat wave into the green. That is for now what I'm looking at. So you want to be ahead of the masses. You want to position yourself now already, and not on that day when we suddenly are pumping 10, 20, 30%, and then you're like, oh my god, now I missed the opportunity. So this is right now the area, in my opinion, to look for a long trade on ING and try to hold it as long as possible, and just take your profit along the way on those resistance area. If you agree with me or not, please let me know in the comments when you're down here. Anyways, also make sure that you like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. See you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.